Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. We are group 5 and there are 5 members in our group. This presentation is at section 7 and the topic is motivational strategies. Before we know some of the methods to boost motivation in the classroom, we should know the importance of motivation in language acquisition. According to the research conducted by Gardner and Lambert in 1972, motivation is considered as the combination of effort and the desire to achieve the language, as well as the attitudes to the language as well. Besides that, motivation is also considered as an important contributor to language achievement, including pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and the 4 basic skills. Knowing the significance of motivation, we teachers should know some of the methods to facilitate motivation in the classroom. Here in the presentation, we will introduce to you guys a framework of motivational teaching practice composed by Don Ye in 2008. When you look at this, you can see there are 4 main stages. The first stage, teacher should create the basic motivation conditions. So thanks to those conditions, teacher can generate initial motivation. And then teacher should know some of the ways to maintain and protect the motivation in the classroom. And thanks to that, students are encouraged to give positive and retrospective self-evaluation. So let's go to the first stage, how to create the basic motivational conditions. So the very first element in this stage is the teacher's behavior. So how to have appropriate teacher's behavior in the classroom to boost learners' motivation. The very first way, teachers should show their enthusiasm to L2. So specifically, teachers should share their own personal interest in L2. I think in many cultures, including Vietnamese culture, personal feeling and experience can be a very effective tool to motivate people. And here we can apply this in the classroom as well. And besides that, teacher can also show how they value L2, how L2 has changed their life and how it's important in career. That's how you show your enthusiasm. The second way, so if you show your commitment to student progress, there is a very good chance that student may show the same in the classroom. And the third way is that teachers should show their expectation for students' learning. So how can we do it? The first way, teachers should care about students' progress. For example, we may give students compliment when they achieve something in learning process, and we may give them some kind of prizes or give constructive feedback that can lead to a sense of success in later life. Besides that, a teacher can also indicate mental and physical availability. You should show your student that you are ready to answer any question that the student poses, or you are willing to clear up all the confusion that the student have in their mind. Last but not least, teachers should have sufficiently high expectation for students, and then students may perform better in the class. Okay, so that's how you show your expectation. The fourth way is that you should have a positive relationship with students. This can help the teaching and learning process smooth and easy. Okay, the next one, acceptance. Teachers should accept the student with various background and different knowledge. That can help you to create student-centered approach during preparing the lessons. And then you should also listen and pay attention to your students all the time. Besides that, availability can be very important, but it is very difficult at the time where most of the students are overburdened and pressed for time. But there is no question that having a personal contact to your students can do wonder to establishing a positive relationship. So how can we do so? First of all, you should show that you care about the students. You may ask them some kind of personal questions such as their ambition, their aspiration. Secondly, as I mentioned before, you should indicate your mental and physical availability. Last but not least, pay attention to your students and care about them. Okay, and to have an appropriate teacher's behavior, you should also establish a good relationship with parents. Well, most of the students will listen to their parents, so parents can facilitate and to support students learning. How can we do so? We should keep parents updated with student progress so that the parents know you care about their child and they might support you after all. Secondly, in terms of the task that you give to your student at home, you might ask parents for help to remind the student to do it at home. So besides having a good behavior, you should also know some of the way to create a pleasant and supportive atmosphere in the classroom. How can we do so? First of all, you should establish a norm of tolerance. You should show to your student that you don't care how many mistakes they have made in the classroom. What you care is what they have learned from those mistakes. That can help them to be ready and they are willing to take risks and accept any mistakes. Besides that, humor can help a lot when it comes to theoretical lessons such as grammar lessons, right? And last but not least, you can encourage students to personalize the classroom. You can ask them to decorate their desk or decorate just a corner of the classroom so that they can feel the classroom is just like their home. And you should also create a cohesive learner group with appropriate group norms. But first of all, how to create a cohesive learner group? The first rule, try to promote interaction, collaboration, and the sharing of the personal information among the learners. Besides that, remember to use icebreaker at the beginning of a course. And you can also regularly use small group tests where students can mingle in different groups so that they can know each other more. And you can also organize some extracurricular activities or outings. So children will have an opportunity to develop some soft skills such as team working. And you can also change the sitting patterns so that students can mix with different partners so that they can know how to develop grouping skill and how to deal with different people. And you should also include some activity that lead to the successful completion of a whole group task or just a small group competition games. So these are some of the ways to create the group cohesiveness. And then you should think of some of the constructive group norms. So how to make it? First of all, try to include the group norms at the beginning of the class. And then explain the importance of the norms so that the student will follow the rules. And then you should also elicit some suggestion for additional rules so that they can feel the sense this class is theirs and it is more likely that they will follow the rules because the rules are made not only by teacher but also by the students. And remember to put the rules on display. Put the rules on the wall or any corner that everybody can see. And remember, if anyone violates the rules, do not let it go. Never let any violations go unnoticed. Try to discipline the students who break the rules.
Hello, Miss. Hello, everyone. My name is Hong Vân. Today, I'm going to do a presentation for the topic how to generate initial motivation. First of all, I want to share how to motivate student motivation. Teacher can enhance learners' language-related values and attitude. Teacher promote learner motivation by presenting peer role models. Teacher can invite senior students come into class and share their positive experiences in learning and working too. The next one, feedback to student, the view of student peer. Because students have different opinions and they also very reactive, so the teacher should reactivity and let the student give feedback to their peer so they can learn from one another. The next one, teacher would like to divide students in different groups and each group of one enthusiastic peer should be assigned in that group at least one enthusiastic peer because active peers can activate and control the group activity. And the next one, teacher can encourage learner interest in the second language learning process. Intrinsic motivation is could be the learner interest and the enjoyment of language learning activity. So the teacher can highlight and demonstrate interesting aspects of second language learning. The next one, first impression is really important, and so the first encounter to the second language, the teacher should make it become positive experience. For example, in the first class of the course, the teacher should keep the lecture very wonderful and inspirational to the student. So they keep going and they want to go to class for the next session and the next one. The teacher can promote interactive values. First of all, including socio-cultural components in English learning curriculum is extremely important because learner would be the citizen, global citizen in the future. So they would be trained to be active and open-minded learner. The next one, the teacher can cause positive feels by influential public figures like Barack Obama, so the student can be motivated. And the next one, the student can be encouraged by conducting their own exploration, by reading English book, creating short story, or quite a British or native TV show. They can improve their knowledge and skill. The next one, teacher can promote the contact between the second language speaker and the second language cultural products. So the teacher can invite interesting public speakers into class and share their opinions about specific topic. That's a good way for the teacher to make learning language more specific and more realistic to the student. And it also helps the student have more motivation. And the next thing, teacher promotes student awareness of instrumental value associated with the knowledge of the second language. Teacher should mindset the student that gain the successful mastery of second language that is the tool to achieve other goals. For example, the businessman who speak English very well can negotiate well with their partner. And the next one, the student also mentioned about the growth of second language, and they have to be awareness the second language learning is very potential usefulness and influential. The next one, teachers should encourage learners to apply their second language proficiency in real life situations teacher should ask the student to do the real project. For example, conducting an interview to ask the foreign language speaker about their consideration about how to push Vietnamese uh, travel industry. Okay, ask student to do the project. And the next one, teacher can increase the learner expectancy of success. Teacher increase the student expectancy of success in particular tasks and in learning in general. Student receive sufficient preparation and assistance before the student start the course, during and also at the end of the course. And the next one, learner know exactly what success is in the task, so they will be ready and they can make their own learning strategy. The next one, teacher should consider to remove the task is too difficult for the student. So you say no serious obstacle to success, because if the student have too many difficulty in the start, so they can be demotivated. And the next one, teacher can increase the learner goal orientedness by formulating illicit class goal accepted. Teacher help the learner negotiate individual goals, outline a common purpose, and display the final outcome in front of class. The student may present their expectation of the course in front of class and set their clear goals. And the next one, teacher should draw attention to class goals and relevant activity. For example, the teacher can hang the poster on the wall to remind the student their goals and the class goals every day when they come to class. And the next one, teacher keep the class goals achievable by renegotiating. If the goals too difficult for the student to be achieved, so the teacher let the student discuss their goals again and reconsider based on their level and their interest. Make the goals more achievable. And that's also the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Now we continue with Miss Hoon.
Hi everyone, my name is Won Hoon and I'm going to talk about the next strategies, which is making the teaching material relevant for the learner. So during the learning process, students might feel that what they learn is not exactly what they need, and this can demotivate them. As teachers, we should make the curriculum and the teaching material relevant to the learner. So in order to do that, first we need to conduct need assessment to find out the student interest as well as their difficulty in learning. After that, the course should be designed to be relevant to the student background and their daily experience so that the student can feel the connection between their learning and their real life. And last but not least, it would be better to have the student involved in designing and running the course. By doing so, the students are given the opportunity to raise their voice, and it can make them feel like they play an active role in the course. The next strategy in motivational teaching is creating realistic learner belief. As we all know that each student have different personality as well as their own belief. However, sometimes their belief are far from the facts, and that's the reason why we should help the student create realistic belief in language learning. And while doing so, we need to pay attention to our attitude towards any false belief. Instead of reacting aggressively, we should like possibly confront those false beliefs. And moreover, we should raise the learner general awareness of language learning, such as providing a wide range of learning method to help the student find the most appropriate one for themselves. After creating motivation, it is important to maintain and protect it. And here is some strategies that we can do. The first thing we need to do is that we should make learning stimulating and enjoyable. To be able to do that, we need to break the monotony of the classroom event. It means that we should change our activities regularly instead of keeping the same routines in every lesson. Moreover, the student would be engaged more in the lesson if the tasks are designed in an interesting and creative way. It means that it would be better to add some surprises in the task to catch the student attentions. And those tasks should be designed to increase the student involvement, such as asking the student to get out of the chair to complete the task, or creating competition between the student. However, making the lesson stimulating and enjoyable is not enough. It is also important to know how to present the task in a motivating way. So first of all, the student need to be informed about the purpose and the utility of the task, which help them realize the reason why they have to do those activities. And secondly, the task should be presented in a way that can spark the student interest and arouse their curiosity. And finally, the instruction shouldn't be too long, or else it would only confuse the student and they are slowly losing their interest in the task. And one of the rules while giving the instruction is KISS, which means the teacher should keep the instruction short and simple. Or sometimes actions speak louder than words. Just giving instruction by modeling can also help the student understand what they have to do in the task effectively without the teacher saying a word.
Hi everybody, my name is Ying. I will start with a new strategy calling setting specific learners goals. So as authors and theory in 1994, observation confirms this view that goal setting can have exceptional importance in stimulating L2 learning environment and motivation, and it's therefore shocking that so little time and energy are spent in the L2 classroom on goal setting. So to help learners to structure the learning process, it's really important to have the student to get specific learners goal. More specifically, teachers should encourage learner to select specific and short-term goals for themselves. Besides, emphasizing goals, completion deadlines, and offer ongoing feedback is also really necessary. So next, we will come to a crucial aspect of motivational teaching practice that is very often ignored and played down in the classroom. It's called protecting the learner's self-esteem and increasing their self-confidence. There are So how we can provide a learner with necessary confidence building experience. So there are several direct and less direct ways in which which is mentioned in the books that we are presenting about today. So in this part, I'll mention 4 strategies. So the first one is providing learner with regular experiences of success. So there is no better recipe for building someone's confidence than to administer regular dosages of success, right? So to do that, teachers should provide multiple opportunities for success for students to demonstrate positive features and to excel. So third, it is worth starting the study of a new unit or issue with a task in which everybody is likely to do well, and more demanding activities should be counterbalanced by manageable tasks. So it means that teachers should adjust the difficulty level of task to the student ability and counterbalance demanding tasks with manageable ones. So next, it is necessary to design tests that focus on what the learner can do and also include improvement options. So the next strategy is build your learner's confidence by providing regular encouragement. So teachers should draw your learners' attention to their strengths and abilities and indicate to your student that you believe in their effort to learn and their capability to complete the task. So especially in giving feedback for online assignments, such as making videos or voice recording, because students, they put a lot of effort in recording the videos again, and again to make it perfect to perform to you. And can directly communicate that with just the person that you worked with. So teacher can help diminish language anxiety by removing or reducing the anxiety provoking element in the learning environment to be confident. So more specifically, so teachers should avoid social comparison. So even its subtle forms can promote cooperation instead of competition. So help learners to accept the fact that they will make mistakes at the part of the learning process and make the test and assignment completely transparent and involve the student in the negotiation of the final mark. So the last strategy is to build your learners' confidence in their learning ability by teaching them various learners strategies. So to do that, teachers should teach students learning strategies to facilitate the intake of new materials and teach students to teach students communication strategies to help them overcome communication difficulties. So the next one in boosting motivation in class is allowing learners to maintain a positive social image while engaged in the learning task. So specifically, teachers should select activities that contain good roles for the participant. Moreover, don't do anything that would may result in a student losing face in front of the others, including avoiding criticism and correction that can be considered humiliating, and avoid putting students in the spotlight unexpectedly or without the agreement or before they are confident that they will be able to do themselves justice, and also avoiding disciplining students in a way that they might perceive as humiliating. Next strategy is promoting cooperation among learners. So to do that, teachers should set up tasks in which teams of learners are asked to work together toward the same goals and take into account team products and not just individual products in your assessment. So However, sometimes it's really hard to take into account team products, right? Because of the people element. So some student can do better than the other in a team. And the last one, provide student with some social training to learn how best to work in a team. Okay, that's all for my part.
Hello everyone, my name is Tam and I'm going to continue with the next strategy. It's creating learner autonomy. So how can we create the learner autonomy? The first strategy is to allow the learners real choices about different aspects of learning process. Like you can have the students choose the classroom activities that they like from time to time, and you can also let them choose the teaching materials. Next one, you can hand over various leadership or teaching roles and functions to the learner. For example, in the class, you can let the good students have the weaker students, so they can have interaction between like among their classmates. And the next one is project work. So here you will play the role of like a facilitator, and then you just support the student when needed. And the next one is self-assessment, so students can assess themselves too. And then the next one, the teachers will adopt the role of a facilitator. So how can you do that? Here, you will be like a helper and instructional designer. You lead the learner to discover and create their own meanings about the world instead of telling them what they have to do. Next strategy is promoting self-motivating learner strategies. So here, the first one, you can raise the learner's awareness of the importance of self-motivation. And then you can let the students work in group, maybe in the first day of the class, and weekly let them share with each other about the strategies that they have found useful in the past. How can they motivate themselves? And the next one is to encourage the student to adopt, develop, and apply self-motivating strategies that they have learned from their friends and then the teachers. Now I've moved on with part 4 is encouraging positive retrospective self-evaluation. So in this part, we also go through some strategies to encourage these aspects, okay? And then here we have the first strategies is promoting effort attributions in your students. So first, what is attributions? Attribution is the way that the learners explain for their failures or their success. So here I will tell you about what student might think if they fail in the test. So some students will say that, oh, I don't have a knack for languages, or I'm not a natural linguist. I'm not able to learn languages. But some might say a different thing, like, I think I didn't work hard enough and I will work harder in the future. So what you have to do is you should encourage the learners to explain their failures in the correct way by the lack of effort and appropriate strategies applied, like the thought of the second student, and not by their insufficient ability, the first thought. Okay, and then next one, you should also refuse to accept ability attributions, like this thought. You shouldn't accept the learner's thought that they are not able to learn languages. And then you should emphasize that the curriculum is within the learner's ability range. You should try to like persuade them that the student can do it. They can learn the curriculum, learn the subject. Okay, and then the next strategy is providing students with positive information feedback. So what is this kind of feedback? The first one is controlling feedback and positive information feedback too. So what is the difference between these two kinds of feedback? The first one, they are judgments against external standards or peer achievement, like when the student finish a test, and then you shouldn't come to a student and tell them that, oh, they didn't perform as well as their friend. So you shouldn't compare them with their peers. Differently, positive information feedback they are positive, descriptive feedback regarding student strengths, achievements, progress, and attitudes. Instead of comparing them with their peers, you can compare the present results of that student with their previous results, so they can see their strengths and then how they progress. So, okay. And so how can you give positive information feedback? You will try to notice and react to any positive contribution from your students. And then you should provide regular feedback about the progress students are making, about the areas which they should particularly concentrate on, about like their strengths and their weaknesses. The next strategies is increasing learner satisfaction. How can you increase the learner satisfaction? The first way, you should monitor student accomplishments and progress, and you should celebrate any victory by giving them a praise, or you can let the class give an applause to the student here. Okay, and sometimes when they have a written assignment, you can also leave some notes to praise them. And you should regularly include tasks that involve the public displays of the student skill, like role play activities. Let the student do the role play activities in front of the class or the school, and then let them do some projects. And it is very important to make the student progress tangible by encouraging production of visual records and arranging regular events. For example, in the class, you can create an accomplishment album or a wall chart to honor some student, the good student in the class. All right, let's move on with the next strategy is offering rewards and grades in a motivating manner. So the word motivating manner is very important. So if you don't give rewards and grades in an appropriate way, it can have an counteractive consequences. So here, let's talk about the rewards first. How can you give the rewards in a motivational manner? So you shouldn't let the student get too preoccupied with the rewards. Like some student, maybe they are really obsessed with the rewards and they don't think about the learning purposes anymore. So you shouldn't let that happen. And then offer rewards for participating in activities requiring creative, goal-oriented behavior and offer novel experiences and consistent success. That means when the student, like they finish a very challenging task, then you should offer them rewards to encourage them. And the next one is to remember, even non-material rewards can have lasting visual representation. So what are some non-material rewards can you think of? Here we have certificates and badges. It can leave lasting visual representation because the student can bring the certificates or badges home and then show it to their parents, to their brothers and sisters. They will feel like proud of them. I'm going to move on with grades. How to use grades in a motivating manner and reduce the demotivating impact. So first, you should let the student know about the assessment system. It should be transparent from the beginning of the course with the success criteria, so the student know how they can be successful in their learning. And the next one is the mechanism. So the student and their peers can also express their views by like assessing their peers. And next one is about the grades, reflect. So you should remember that it not only reflects the objective levels of achievement, but also the student effort and improvement. And then the ongoing assessment relies on not only pencil and paper tests, but also the measurement tools like like you can use other alternative assessment like portfolio or project to assess the student, not only based on the pencil and paper test. And the accurate student self-assessment. To make sure that the student self-assessment accurate, you should provide them with various self-evaluation tools like the checklist. Now you can have a look at the model again, we have 4 steps to create motivational classes. So that is also the end of our presentation today. Thank you very much for listening.